Hi, this is Joanne Hewins from LoveToCreate.typepad.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I have a really cute little fun fold to show you. I have several friends who are having birthdays, and I need to give them a card, and I decided to try something using the new paper from the mini that is called Garden Walk. Well, here's the card. It looks like this, and it opens like that. So we'll get to that in just a minute, but let me take a brief break and just talk to you about the mini catalog. Here's the front of the catalog, and now that it's all live, we can show you the inside. So I'm going to go over to pages 52 and 53, and here you have a suite called the Garden Walk Suite. It contains a lot of things. It contains the stamp set and a punch, so those two go together for the bundle. And then there are some blooming pearls, some calypso coral braided linen trim, and then we have this paper. This is a 6x6 paper, and it has 48 sheets. It has it has 8 different designs, and it has 6 of each of those designs. So I'm going to close that up. There's the front again, and I'm going to show you the papers that are in this. So 8 designs. So let me show you this. Let's see, how am I going to do that? I'll just add some as I go. This is the one we're going to be using today. And then, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit fiddle-fingered. Of this, and this, and that, and in this one. So you can see some of those are a little bit coordinated with each other, so they would be really nice to use together. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So I'm going to flip those over so you can see the flip side. And those are more general pieces, a lot of good for backgrounds, and if you like things that are not quite as busy, the backs of these are good. So really good paper. It's not really Christmas paper. It's in the holiday catalog, but there are a few sheets that may make you think of Christmas. Maybe that one not so much, but this one certainly does. It looks like it has a poinsettia on there. So let's get back to the card that we're going to make today. So on this one, I did use the paper that looks like this. It has this on one side. Not really very Christmassy, but I decided not to use it for Christmas anyway. And then this is the back of it. And I have to say, this is my favorite out of all of the papers in that pack. So let's get busy with what we're going to make. So I have a lot of different measurements on this because I decided to put a lot of layers. So I'm going to put this sticky note here, and hopefully you can see about what I'm saying about all of those. And I'm going to see if I can find something. Well, I'm just going to take just a tiny bit of glue, I think, and just stick that down there to hold that where you can see it. That'll work. That'll work. So I'm going to start with the back of the card. And for that, I'm going to be using wild wheat as my base. And this is cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that's the regular card side. And then I have another layer. This is Mossy Meadow. I love those two together. I have to admit that wild wheat is not my favorite color, but it just looks so pretty with this paper. Look at all of that, how nice that looks. So the Mossy Meadow is 4 by 5 1/4, and then I did cut a piece of the designer paper, the Garden Walk Designer Series paper, 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue these pieces together. And I am going to use some leaves on this. I'm going to have 2 leaves, one here and one on the inside. And before you glue this layer, you might want to go on and cut your leaves out of the green. You can cut it out of the center of the green. No one will ever know that it's missing that little bit because it's going to be covered up by the designer series paper. So that's just a little tip on one way to save a little bit on paper. So I've got that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my other piece of designer paper. Again, this is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Now I want you to notice this little clump of flowers here. Here it's going this way, but look there, it's going the other way. So I'm not so sure that there's a direction of this paper. But if you happen to cut a piece and it only has one of these instead of several, then you would want to make sure that the flowers were going up on that. So let me go ahead. I don't think it's going to matter so much with this. And I'm going to go ahead and place my designer paper. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of like to hold mine diagonally, corner to corner, and that way I can kind of move it around a little bit and get it exactly where I want it and get it as straight as I can. So here's the back of the card. We've got that done, and we're ready to work on this fold out part. So I'm going to set that aside. And the fold out part, I've already cut this. I have it listed on my paper. It's in wild wheat 4 by 11. So usually if you're cutting a card size, it's 4 1/4 by 11. But this is just 4 by 11. It's going to be fitting onto the center of this. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer and we're going to do our scoring. So I'm going to need to have the arm out for that. And I want to make sure that I'm using my score. So I'm going to put my trimmer part down here out of sight so I won't be tempted to use it. And I'm going to move it just for a minute so we can see the scoring right here on my paper. So we're going to do 1 1/2. And then we're going to do 3. And then we're going to do 5 1/2. And then we'll do 8. Let's see if I can see that in the picture. Yeah, so 8. Those are our 4 score lines. And I'll just move this out of the way and close my arm in. And we're ready to work on this. So I'm going to start here and just do my zigzag folding. So this is my little base of that, and I'm going to fold it in. And I want to make sure that this is straight, so I'm going to turn it where I can actually see it better. And I'm going to use my bone folder. Okay, and then we're going to take this one and fold it back this way. Still want to make sure things are straight on here. Okay, and then back this way. And then the last one goes back this way. So here is how everything looks before we decorate it. So it's going to look like this. It's going to go on our base. In the center, I'm going to go ahead and decorate everything and then we'll put it there. But this is the way that it will go. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way again. And I started with the back panel back here. I don't know why I did that. I'm one of those people who read newspapers from the back, all magazines and that kind of thing. So my Mossy Meadow is going to be 2 3/4. I'm sorry, by 3 3/4. So I'm going to have that first, and then I'm going to have white 2 5/8 by 3 5/8. So that's just 1/8 of an inch smaller over that. And I'm going to go ahead. I have just a little strip. Now in this main one that I had a thicker strip. I think it's a 1/2 inch. I had this much left over, and it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to this layer. And the reason I'm going to do it like that is because if this is, I'm just looking to see if I've got it, if this is too long or too short, then I can adjust with my trimmer and make it right. And I think it's okay as it is. So I'm going to go ahead then and glue that to my base here. Now, I probably just did something that is a no-no for stampers, and that is I have attached my white without doing my stamping. And you know, the odds of making a mistake have just increased by my doing that. We're going to hope everything goes okay. I'm going to bring in the Darling Details stamp set and my Mossy Meadow ink. And I'm going to stamp in there Happy Birthday, because as I said, I've got a couple of friends with birthdays, and I want to give them this cards. Okay, so I've got it inked, and I think that's pretty straight. And you know what, that's not exactly straight, but I think it's okay. I'm not going to sweat the little stuff, as they say. So let me show to you that when I did this on the inside here, I noticed that when I closed my card, it had white there, and that just, it didn't look good. So I decided to try to cover up just the white, and that's when I put the strip. I had already done my stamping. If I had done it later, then I would have centered this. So I just wanted to point that out, that sometimes when you add a little something, it throws something else off a little bit. So hopefully this will be a little bit better. Now let's talk about how we're going to decorate this. I have a leaf, a flower, and I have a flower center that I'm going to use. And I wanted to show you that I am using the Paper Florist dies. Now I have the pieces that I used pulled. So I used this one for my centers. I actually got 4 centers from that. I used the smaller end for the flower, and the center is the wild wheat. The flower is Poppy Parade, and then the leaves are from Mossy Meadow. So I'm just going to glue those on, and we'll have that inside part done. This really, once you get your stuff cut, it's not really a hard thing to do. And I'm not even going to glue all those leaves down. I'm just going to do a couple. And since it's inside and it's kind of a bulky card anyway, I'm not going to put any kind of dimensionals or anything. Okay. Now I'm going to put my glue not on these pieces because they might end up going over a little bit. I'm not sure. But I think I'll do it like this. I think I'll have this petal cover up maybe some of the stem, like that. And then we'll want to put in that little center piece. I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool and add that there. Look, I screwed out my my putty, and it just kept coming out, I guess, while I wasn't looking. I'm going to push that down, and I think that's fine the way it is. So here we go. This is going to go right here on our card. So let me do that. Again, I'm holding the opposite corners or diagonal corners, and I'm using that to help me move that around a little bit. And the glue gives me just a little bit of give for that. So that's going to go like that. And we have that done. So on the card itself, this next part is blank, and then we're going to do this part. So let's get really ready for that. And I have my pieces cut. And I'm going to be using in that middle panel, this is 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. The length on all of these is 3 3/4. And then my designer paper is 2 1/8 by 3 5/8. And since I only have one of those kind of flowers, I'm going to do it with them going up. So let me glue this. To the base. And at this point, I can really still choose, do I want this to go this way or this way? I want it this way. Okay, so this is going to go right here in this section. So again, I'm going to use my diagonals and see until I think I have it straight. And there's that. And that leaves us with the front. So let me pull in our original. There we are with that. So we're going to first do the background papers on that. So let me pull those over. I've already cut. And the Mossy Meadow is 1 1/4 by 3 3/4. And oh, I did not write in the designer paper. So the designer series paper would be 1 1/8 by 3 5/8. Now I will put these measurements in the description of the video, so you'll be able to find it later. And I'm going to, now you can see this paper had I'm using both sides of the paper for that. Let me put this right here. And then we'll put this on the front. Okay. And I do love having all of those layers, all of those panels. It makes the card thick, but it's pretty. Now I'm going to bring in a piece of basic white, and I have cut that with the Stylish Shapes dies. This one right here, I went ahead and cut my manner. So I'm going to ink up the word friend. I'm going to punch this one before, well, it is punched before a stamp, but hopefully this will be just fine as well. I've got an extra in case I need it. And I'm going to do the friend over to the side a little bit. I think that looks great. So I'm going to bring in this other one. I don't know that it will stay flat enough for you to see what it's going to do, but we're going to take our friend and attach it so that it extends a little bit over this. And I only want to glue it on this section. I don't want to glue everything shut. So I'm going to put a little bit of the tape in that area. And then this will go about there. I'm trying to make sure it's straight going that way. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my leaf and my flower on the front. So I have cut out another of those, and I had 4 of those centers, so I can still use that. I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Trying to be very sparing with the glue. And I'm going to add that leaf. Let's see, I think I'll do it about like that. You're going to have to work with the card, the way all of that presents itself. And then I'm going to take my flower. And remember, this cutout is from Paper Florist. So I'm going to add that. And again, I think I'm going to cover up that stem just a little. There's my center. So I'll put just a light little dot of glue there. I'll use my Take Your Pick tool again and add my center. And then we're almost done. I'm going to pull in these in-colored dots. You can see I've used a lot of them. So I have the annual catalog. I wanted to show you that these dots are on page 141, and they're right here. So I'm going to have to order some more, aren't I? So I'm going to use the wild wheat dots, and I'm going to put one, let's see, I'm going to put one down here, and I'm going to go and use a medium one. I think I'll put that one right in there, and I'm going to get a big one and put it over in here somewhere. So that takes care of that insert. We have it. It looks just a tiny bit different, but I rarely put 2 cards together that are exactly the same. So I'm going to bring in my base. We're going to put glue on the back of this. Now, of course, you could use tear and tape or something like that if you want to. And this one is a little bit challenging because you've got all that pop out wanting to pop. But I think I got it. And you just want to look at all around the edges and see if it's about the same. See if you think it's straight, even. I'm going to turn this one on the back and just kind of push back here. And I think that should do it. Oops, upside down. So here we have our cards. Here's the one we just made. It has that thinner little piece there that's probably, what, 1/4 of an inch. And then this one has a little bit thicker. You can see the difference. And this one, it's a little bit crooked. It's a little bit more centered, but maybe not quite all the way centered, but it's okay. We made this for someone. They're going to love it. So here are 2 cards. Tell me what you think. I hope you're going to enjoy making this fun fold. It's pretty simple. Once you get your measurements, and I have those for you right here, and then get your pieces cut, it's as easy as peasy. Does that make sense? Easy as peasy? Well, if you need some supplies, I would love if you would order them from me. If you don't have another demonstrator all over already, want you to help the person that helped you. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.